Transformers Masterpiece MP-47 Hound, Generation 1 MP-47 Hound, is going through a whole bunch of turmoil, and it's in quite a sorry state right now. It came out approximately 2 weeks ago of this recording, and it's been nothing but negativity, and so much so that I didn't think about doing this segment at first, because I thought it was isolated cases and it wasn't too big a deal. I mean, I've seen in the past where people have bought Masterpiece 2.0 Megatron or Dinobot from Beast Wars and they broke it, but it was like, fumble finger kind of people who just are a little too excitable when it comes to transforming their more expensive Transformers with their fiddly pieces. But this was not the case. This was the case that a lot of people that I know and a larger bulk of people that I don't know making reports of all having the same problem and it breaking. And then compounding with that Amazon Japan, because of this problem, slashed the price of this Masterpiece figure significantly to just move stock because of the negative image that is associated with it. It's really bad. So let's jump into what that is exactly and what the problem is. So here's what pretty much happened. Masterpiece MP-47 Hound came out. Essentially, the release date was January 6th. People in Japan and America started getting it on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. Started opening him up, started transforming him, and there was a big issue. If you look at him in alt mode, that's the best way for people who don't own the figure to understand what's going on. If you look at him in alt mode, what makes his kickstand or door for his Jeep mode, there's a panel, and that panel, if you're looking at the image, has a yellow triangle on it. And that door, opening up like a traditional door of a car, is on a hinge at the front of the vehicle. The problem is during transformation, you have to disattach that assembly from the back, moving forward towards the hinge of the front, and that hinge is on a very thin piece of plastic on a pin attached. And if you're not being very, very careful, it breaks very easily, and it's not one of those crazy glue kind of situations. You can't glue it and hope that you could then do this again for the robot mode. It's a one-way street at one and done. And a lot of people have been breaking this. A lot. And it's a big problem. So much so that there's been tons of returns to various retailers, and Amazon Japan being the biggest indicator. It's so bad that Amazon Japan's ranking, like when people could talk about the product, it is so bad that the 1-star ratings is 26%. The 2-star ratings, and this is out of 5, is 13%. The 3-star ratings is 23%. The 4-star ratings is 8%. So legitimately, like, the crazy thing is that between 1-star and 3-star, a bulk of more than 65% of the votes are in that area. So this is not looking good for this figure. And because Amazon had such bad ratings for it, cut the price for it significantly, dropped it from its 19,000 yen, which is about, let's say, $210 American, all the way down to 12,800 yen, which is about between, let's say, 150 to 160. So you're talking a $50 to $60 drop in price within a span of 1 week of it coming out. And we've been looking at it ever since then. And it's pretty crazy. And I've never seen such a negative outlook on a Masterpiece toy so soon after its release, since the likes of, the only one that I could honestly think of, and even then it didn't impact the retail value, more just the secondary market value. But I think like the Trax mold, MP Trax, I know that after he came out, the negativity was so large that everyone was unloading on him, and you were picking up MP Traxes in the secondary market for $40, $50. And of course, Road Rage is a female repaint counterpart. But I picked up mine, and I transformed and I didn't break it, but I think that it comes more from my experience when it comes to Transformers throughout the years. People know my collection. I've pretty much messed with everything. And after years of GPS with Transformers, and anyone who saw my GPS videos, after years of messing with really expensive Japanese stuff, vintage Japanese stuff, and even the likes of owning MP 2.0 Megatron and Dinobot, and knowing how those are fiddly and you got to be careful with those, I kind of have that same approach here when it was with Hound. And so I didn't break mine, but thank goodness that I didn't, and then found out about this after the fact, and now know that, I don't know, I'm kind of looking at him and going like, I think you're going to stay in robot mode forever. I know the only masterpiece I've ever broken ever has been the Hasbro release of Rodimus Prime of the MP-09. I have multiple versions of this one. I bought it many times, and the elbows just start to give out after a while, and they used a terrible like maroon plastic. So one version of mine is busted, and I put it into vehicle mode, and it stays like that forever now. But the point is that it's happened to me, just not from someone, not from one that I expected. Mine was more a degradation of plastic over time. It wasn't an engineering oversight. In this case, it was an engineering oversight, a small piece of plastic used to handle all the friction and all the power in one area. And it just sucks that seeing so many people trying to transform this and breaking it and posting on Instagram and Twitter and on Facebook and going, look at this shit. Look what happened. I just spent $210 and broke it. And it's killer. It's such a shame. So I'm just putting this out there because it became it went from being an isolated problem to a overall warning now to people who are looking to buy this product, and seeing now the price dives and going like, oh wow, it's so cheap now, that's awesome, I'm going to buy it. But to know why that's happening, and to see now what's going on. And it's a shame because, I mean, man, like Hound is one of those characters that, I mean, even his alternator toy was pretty spot on to his G1 counterpart. I mean, this was a guy that really always kind of had really good, representations of his character model throughout the years, and just a sea of third-party ones that just seem to fit the bill too. And then for finally to wait and get the official one from Takara, and it to be a bust. So, I mean, let's just say the third-party guys are probably laughing about this one, but it's a real shame. So if you purchase Hound, proceed with caution and be careful. And I mean, it's nuts because the secondary market now prices for it. I'm seeing guys selling it as low as 1,700 yen, which is about, we're talking, again, we're 2 weeks out from its release, and we're seeing stuff from the equivalency of $210 American drop to 1,700 yen, so about almost $100. Let's say $95. That's more than 50% of the price. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that it's cut that much. So keep an eye out. Be cautious. If someone's selling a used one, make sure it's not broken. That's true too. Make sure nothing's been crazy glued to try to pull a fast one on you. And then if it breaks, they'll say, oh, it was your fault. So be careful with that. If there's a bootleg market of these, because, there's always making bootlegs of masterpieces, I can't imagine that one being any better unless they use some kind of really stronger plastic for that area, which wouldn't that be crazy that the bootleg's better quality? But yeah, just be careful. And if you're someone who's listening to this much later than its original airing date of this segment, it's something that, again, be wary of used product and future used product of this in the secondary market. Be careful of those doors. And again, I'm going to post images, and I think I'm going to use like P.A. P.A. took a really good photo of the breakage, so I'll use P.A.'s image of his breakage. and let people see what's going on here exactly.